rolling this thing.
It's running. Welcome to the pour. Pour your. Do you want me just to go full screen on you for this? Because I kind of think this is like a big deal. So there you go. You have the con.
So this is our 50th pour, right?
Well, this is our 30-somethingth pour, but it will be our 49th and 50th beers on the pour. That's the deal.
Wait, I'm
49.
not 50?
You're 49.
Well, you're closer to 50 than I am anyway.
That's true. Well, I mean, I just figured for 50, let's make it the Alberta beer for... Wait a minute. This isn't an Alberta beer. Okay, whatever. Go first if you want, or second. I'll go first if you want.
I'm going to go first.
No, I've got to have an Alberta beer. You go first.
Oh, all right. Today I am going to drink a beer that has been in my fridge since the beginning of last winter. It's the Kentucky Winey, the Winey Bastard, the 2017 Imperial Stout. Greg and I have drank Kentucky Bastard, which is the same beer aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels, whereas this one is aged in, I believe it's Pinot barrels.
I so want that.
11%. It uses, for malts, it uses chocolate, dark chocolate, Cafra 3, chocolate wheat, crystal, roasted barley, pale ale, flaked wheat, and flaked barley. The hops, it uses Magnum, Nugget, and Cascade. It used for yeast, dry English yeast, and Brettanomyces.
Oh, it's
barrels.
It's Brett in the barrel as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
Barrels, it uses Toss Pinot Noir barrels. I'm going to drink it out of a freaking paper cup because I'm ghetto. There'll be no information about things that are important.
You are a wonderful, wonderful human, and as it is, it's the 50. It's Alberta Beer Week, and I don't have an Alberta bloody beer in my house. I just drank the last one.
So yeah, 11%. Everything IBU, and I'm using a paper cup.
I wish I was at your house so bad right now. Like, so bad.
It pours like mud.
For no other reason, Luke, but to dick punch you for drinking that out of a paper cup.
Look at the head.
Looks like a fucking latte.
I can smell Pinot in the room.
No, that's genitals.
No, this isn't your house.
Yeah, there are words, but I'm not going to use them right now.
You have two boys in your house. It smells like genitals.
Hey, Debbie. Debbie's in the room checking out your face while you do this.
That's really good, Greg. You should have one of these.
I'm sure I should. I feel right now exactly the way you felt when I kept telling you about mother's milk a few weeks ago. Yeah, I know. It's payback. I understand payback.
Or how I felt for a year when you were drinking elves.
Ah, but you've had elves now, so you can't say that anymore.
You know what, Greg? It's a really good beer. I'm going to let you try it for yourself.
Oh, I'm son of a bitch. Come on, what's the rating? No, I'm not going to make you do a rating.
I'm searching the internet for a meme.
All right, so here is my mistake, guys. When I was looking for beers last week to do on the show,
I
I
sent you a tough cookies.
I was not using all of my forebrain that was granted to me by evolution. And I saw this beer, and the beer on the rack had blah 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 name, blah 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 blah, Alberta something something something. Well, the Alberta something 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 was, I think, the Liquor Connect information, which is where all beer in Alberta gets processed through. And instead of buying a beer that I thought might be from a new brewery that I hadn't spotted that just had popped up, because we have been exploding in Alberta with breweries, I ended up getting something from fucking Guelph. Now, Luke may be familiar with this beer, but I am not, and I am not familiar with the brewery either. So let's just pretend I didn't say anything about Alberta at all. This is Fire in the Rye from Double Trouble Brewing Company in Guelph, Ontario.
Nice.
Yeah, something closer to Luke than me.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so this is we experimented with a rye last year or 3 long time ago, called the Dripawad, the Double Down Rye IPA with a difference, which Luke, if I'm not mistaken, actually inserted an IV. Or was it a mainline to my fridge?
Yeah, no.
Because you were sleeping on the couch.
I hooked the growler filler up.
Yeah.
And ran a tube to your fridge and just opened the tap and turned the pressure down to 2 psi so I could hold it with my thumb.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, and he just sat, and that's what he drank all night. Literally all night. I believe while you binge watched Westworld, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is Fire in the Rye from Double Trouble Brewing Company. Again, Fire in the Rye. I mean, nice can, nice artwork. It's a tall boy. I don't usually get tall boys, but I appreciate the cost. Well, that exploded.
Yeah. That's the thing that happens.
Everywhere. It just exploded. It exploded.
This beer is so good, Greg.
I'm sure it is. It is, Fire in the Rye is a rye pale ale with roasted rye. It's rare that you'll find anything made with just malted rye. Malted rye alone, I mean, it's a pretty... It's a pretty flavorific grain, so a lot of people will use it only in small amounts as a roast or something in the grain bill. And so, color wise, you're not going to see a damn thing. You could probably find a piece of paper and put that behind it, but it's still not going to show up. Really dark sort of caramel head, kind of hoppy for a pale. Maybe a little more hoppy than I'd expect. I'm gonna have to let that die down. Luke, why don't you tell us about that beer you're drinking?
Okay, so you saw the cap. So it was. I can't tell you how deep because I'm drinking it out of a paper cup. Yeah, well, but it was soapy. The barrel is super present. Yeah, you get a lot of the fruits and the earth from the barrel. Because it's the same base beer as the Kentucky Bastard, right?
Right.
So it's easy to pick out the differences in the barrel. I actually feel like a dick because I don't like this beer as much as I like the Kentucky Bastard.
But that's not a dick thing. That's just,
you know. This is why I feel like a dick. The Brett is there, and I know that you would like this more than the Kentucky Bastard. I'm not saying that to be a bad guy, but this is more your palate of an Imperial.
That may be the case, but you know what? I don't generally, and I say generally because I have been proven wrong on one particular occasion, but I don't generally like wine aged in beer or in wine barrels. I prefer aged beers that are done in hard liquor barrels, so bourbon or whiskey. I find the wine notes to me
still there. the pit fruit is still there. The raisin or like the plum or like whatever the hell that was from the bastard is still there. It's got a tiny little pull from the sourness, and it's not overpowering. No bitter to speak of, no alcohol to speak of, even though it's an 11. Chocolate is there. You get the grain, right? It's got a lot of you get a lot of the grain because there's so much there. But
so I guess so. What you're saying is the end up is it's a good beer, but it's not the Kentucky Bastard for you.
Well, but it's close. Like I would buy this beer many more times.
Well, but you need a budget for that.
It's a dinner beer for sure.
Yeah. So the fire in the rye has settled down. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. I hate having to go through a half of a glass ahead to get to a beer. I mean, I know the guys at Heineken say, well, you tilt it and the beer drink underneath. No, fuck that. I just don't feel like getting it up in my face holes. So fire in the rye from Double Trouble. As I said, spicy, hoppy nose, but not so much malt, mostly spice and hop. That might be my favorite rye so far.
Really?
I'm not, generally speaking, I'm not a pale ale guy. Like, I just had Pesky Pig a minute ago, which is a fairly hoppy pale ale from Troubled Monk. This fire in the rye from Double Trouble, the rye is completely there. It is 100% obvious that it's a rye beer. It's hopped fairly heavily, but not over the top. And my argument with pale ales is that they are always, and it's not an argument with pale ales that are made, it's an argument with the style. I don't like the style. In general, pale ales are too bitter on the back end for me, and there's not enough to balance it out. Just the way they seem to be made these days. This, they minute after a sip, they just don't chooch. That's right. They don't chooch. This particular beer, really well balanced. The bitterness is there, but then 30 seconds after the sip, you've just got a little linger, and it's just a gentle little hint that you need another sip. The rye is flavorful. There's a bit of spice. There's a bit of maltiness to it, but it's not in your face, because that's what a lot of the rye beers do, is they get super spicy. They just get up in your grill, and they they try to tickle your nipples from the inside, and I'm not down with that most of the time. Just say it. Yeah, I know. Okay. Overall, it's quite tasty. It's not overly sweet. It's hitting all the right buttons for me. I'm totally down with this. Is it the greatest beer I've ever had? No, of course not. No. Is it one I would buy again? Yeah, I would probably want to have a couple of these in the fridge. Just now, I say that not as a guy who buys a flat of Boxer a week. I'm talking about this as a guy who keeps 80 bottles or 60 bottles of enjoyable beers in the fridge on a regular basis, because I don't know what I'm going to want to drink. If I want something that's a pale ale and has a little more flavor, Fire in the Rye, Double Trouble Brewing Company. Well done, gents. Well done. Well done, team. Well done, people. I don't want to get all gendery there. Anyway, good beer. So, Luke, what's your rating while I think about mine? Hey, you know what I should do? Is I should remind people where they can go to find out what our ratings are all about. That's at Untappd.com.
Oh, dude, I was going to go.
Well, then go.
No.
I already did the thing.
I know. We're just talking over the window.
I know.
People can read.
I just vaped. You should.
I'm going to vape.
Untappd.com/user/Mr. Wilkinson. Untappd.com/user/G Scratch. That's where you'll find our reviews. Because reviews are important. And Luke, what else should people do? People should go support us on Patreon.
They should go visit us on Patreon.
At patreon.com/Rysk Brewing. That is where you will find us. That is where you'll find me. I have no better song for that than... That was terrible.
Yeah, I think when we were doing the Elves After 8 review, we promised limited edition stickers to our Patreons with the not safe for
work graphics. That is something that our Patreon subscribers can get.
As well as we will send you out a sticker.
Oh yeah.
We'll figure out the point where that becomes a thing.
It'll just be a thing.
Fancy, you haven't seen the non-PG labels? I'll send that to you tomorrow.
Fancy. Well, you will get an actual sticker, Fancy, but if you go to your Patreon page, I posted it there. It is in there. All I can say is Elves on the Shelves do a great deal more when in the glory of a whole.
That was a great picture.
That's a mental moment there. Hey Luke, what's your rating? This could be the longest pour in history. I'll probably be editing this, so this, for people who are watching, is actually like a bonus because there's a whole lot of hemming and hawing going on here.
Yeah, I think honestly I think the highest rated beer that I ever had was the Kentucky Bastard.
I believe so, actually.
I don't know if that was a 4.75 or a 5.
I don't recall, but it was big. I do remember that. It was big. I think my camera froze for a second there again. I'm not sure, but we're good. We're good.
This is a 4, Greg. I'm sure that you would, like, knowing your palate. Like, dude, I wish I could show you the lace. Like,
you fuck. You can't show lacing with a paper seam.
I know.
Why do I try? Why do I try? How hard is it? How hard is it to get a pint glass? Like, just steal one.
Dude, I have 5 of them. I just don't use them to piss you off.
Dude, just tuck that pint glass down your ass crack and drink. No, I mean like an actual. Oh. All right, like, Fire in the Rye, Double Trouble Brewing Company. I am going to. My camera froze again. What the hell is going on? Oh, that is so annoying. Okay, well, you guys can... Oh, apparently it, like, really went that time. Now I'm just...
Yeah, mine froze, too.
Wow. No, you're still there. Mine's just blue. Oh, I'm feeling a little blue. Yeah, Fancy, it was months before that. All right. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw it over to Luke to sign out for this episode, and then I'm gonna restart after we get back to the cast. I'll do a restart and we'll get our shit back together, and I'll see if I can figure out what crippled my camera this time. Wow, that's
so this is the best part because you, the live viewer, I'm making eye contact with the camera, which is what I was doing before. And now Greg can cut this out and dub my voice over. Thank you for watching the pour. Greg, what's your rating?
3.25 for Fire in the Rye from Double Trouble.
3.25 and a 4. Untappd.com
/user/Mr. Wilkinson
/user/G Scratch. Thank you for pouring with us.